When you open the Sharewell Dashboard Viewer, your default dashboard is displayed. Your default dashboard may not be the same as the one you're seeing here. However, you can view available dashboards by going to the Dashboards menu and selecting Dashboard Manager. You'll see several folders on the left-hand side. The folders you see are based on the role that's assigned to you, as well as the team assignment. So if I click on these folders, I'll see the available dashboards on the right-hand side. So let's go to the Client Services folder, and I'm going to select the Client Services dashboard just to take a look at it. I click OK, and after a few seconds, the Client Services dashboard will open. All right, I am looking at the records on this dashboard, and it really isn't exactly what I want to be my default dashboard. So I'm going to go back to my default dashboard. I can do that by going to File, Go Home, or I can click the Dashboards menu, and you'll notice at the bottom there's a list of the last dashboards you have opened. So I'm going to go back to the AST Technician dashboard. Let's assume that I wanted to make the Client Services dashboard my default. I could do that by going to the File menu and selecting Options. And here's the AST Technician dashboard listed as my current default dashboard. If I wanted to change it, I would click the button to the right, and I'm going to see the same list of folders on the left. So I'll go to the Client Services folder, and I would select Client Services Dashboard. I don't want to change my default, so I'm going to click Close and Cancel. You'll notice that there are several grids listed here, and you'll notice every now and then you'll see a flicker. And what that is it's the dashboard refreshing. So let's say that within the last minute, a task was assigned to one of my teams. If that had been done in the last minute, it would appear on this top grid. Or if within the last minute, someone acknowledged this task. If that were the case, the task would no longer be visible up here following the refresh, and instead it would be visible down in the My Team's Acknowledged Task grid. So you'll see it flicker every now and then, and that's what it's doing. It's updating these grids. It's updating these numeric values that you see. It's also updating the numeric values you see on the left-hand side. You can force a refresh by hitting F5 on your keyboard. The records you see on most of the dashboards are going to be those that are either assigned to you or they're assigned to a team of which you are a member. So you'll notice you have My Team's Unacknowledged Task for incidents, My Team's Unacknowledged Task for service requests, and so on. The records on the left-hand side, incidents and service requests, change requests, releases, approvals, these are also records that are related to you or to a team of which you are a member. Most of the dashboards you look at are going to have grids on them, and these grids are customizable. For example, you can rearrange the order that the columns appear on the grid. You can just select them and just drag and drop them to wherever you want them to be located. You can also add and remove columns from the grids, and you do this by right-clicking on any column header and selecting Customize Columns. The ones you see listed here with a checkbox next to them, those are the columns that are currently visible on your grid. They're also listed in the order in which they appear on your grid. So let's say I wanted to remove the Task ID column, and you'll see that's the first column on the grid. If I wanted to remove that, I would go to the Customize Columns, and I would simply select the Task ID. And as you can see, now it's no longer visible. If I wanted to add it back, I would right-click again on any column header, select Customize Columns, and I would have to click More. The fields you see here are those listed in alphabetical order, but these are ones that don't have a check mark on them, so they're not currently on the grid. I could select one of these, but I need to click More to get to the Task ID field. So I'll click More, and here I see a list of all the fields associated with the task object. And I will just select the Task ID. The fields on the right are those fields that are currently on your grid. They're also listed in the order in which they appear on the grid. So I can select Task ID on the left and hit the right arrow here in the middle, and that will move it over here to my selected fields. If I want it to appear at the top of the grid, I would simply hit the up arrow and move that column to first place on the grid. I can also rearrange the other columns while I'm here. And I select OK. And as you can see, the Task ID is now back on the grid. When you add or remove columns, or when you rearrange them by dragging and dropping them, those changes are permanent. The next time I open the dashboard viewer, however my columns were arranged when I last closed out the dashboard viewer is how they're going to be arranged when I open it the next time. I can also sort the columns, and you sort them by clicking on the column header, and you can toggle back and forth with the sort order. So I can sort on pretty much any column header. I can also filter records that appear on my grid. For example, let's say I only wanted to see unacknowledged tasks that are owned by the Sharewell team. If I hover over the column header, a filter icon appears, and you'll see that on most of the column headers. So to filter, I would click the filter icon, and a window is going to come up and show me the available teams. I want to see only Sharewell, but I could select multiple teams here if I wanted to. I'm going to select Sharewell and select OK, and as you can see, a bar now appears on the bottom that shows me that this grid is currently filtered by Owned by Team to display only the Sharewell tasks. And if I scroll through my list of tasks, only Sharewell tasks appear. If I wanted to remove this filter, all I have to do is click the X next to the currently displayed filter. And now once again I'm seeing the task of all the teams that I'm a member of. This concludes the dashboard overview video.